it's Rosie here with a story from my life and an invitation to you. Okay, so this time I thought I would share a little conversation I had with my daughter Maya. And she had come back from school and she said, Mom, I learned something about energy in the universe. And I said, oh, what's that? And she said, well, I learned that there's a finite amount of energy in the universe. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. And she said, well, look at this. Well, anyway, she pointed to a rock on the ground and she said, you see that rock? I said, yeah. She goes, well, that rock is just lying there still. It's not really generating any energy. And I said, yeah, that's true. And she said, but if someone like picked it up and then dropped it, then suddenly it would create all of this energy. And I said, that's true. And she said, but the problem is that in order for the rock to generate energy, someone has to use energy to pick that rock up. Okay, so like in a way, it doesn't matter where the energy is coming from or how, it has to get used somehow. Anyway, it was such a profound moment for me because there was a lot going on in my relationship with my husband, and we were just really dealing with economic strife and contemplating a lot of possibilities, which could be including selling our house, moving away, maybe moving to Europe, where, for example, my husband comes from Denmark, where there's socialistic country, you can get free education and free health care, you don't have to worry about retirement. So there's sort of this fantasy in the mind that if we move to this country, then we can finally relax and we don't have to be working so hard just to kind of pay the bills and, pay the mortgage and Maya's school and all these kinds of things, right? That was sort of our thinking. And then I was realizing, well, actually, maybe it's true that we could move to that country and some things would get easier, but just the process of moving to that country, of selling the house, of making all those decisions, of taking Maya out of school, moving her to a place where she's going to have to learn a whole new language, and I'd have to start my whole private practice up again, and it would be kind of a really big deal, right? So it would require a lot of energy to get to a place where we could then be free of having to spend a certain kind of energy. Anyway, I don't know if this is making sense to you, but that whole concept just kind of woke me up to thinking, okay, we all have these ideas about, oh, if I just had this thing, then I could relax, or then I wouldn't have to spend all this time and energy worrying about or trying to create or trying to manifest. We have this illusion that somehow then we'll be free of having to exert any energy. But the truth is, there's a finite amount of energy in the universe. I don't know if that's really the truth, but anyway, it's just a fun concept to play around with. So it's really not so much about what's going to be the easiest route, but it's more like, well, as long as I'm going to have to use energy no matter what I do, what's that thing that excites me the most? Like, what's that thing that I have the most juice for? Because it's the same thing, right? Like if you're longing for a partner and you spend all this time trying to go on dates and pining for somebody and feeling lonely, and you think, God, if I only had a partner, then I could finally relax and I'd have someone to help me kind of create a home environment, and I'd feel so connected and so many things would be easier socially and all these kinds of thoughts. But if you really, have a partnership, you'll realize, oh my God, there's a lot of energy that goes into having a partnership. It really requires a lot, right? Life takes and it gives. So what are the things that, I guess this is my invitation to you, to think about, what are the things, given the fact that whatever it's going to be, it's going to require a certain kind of presence and risk-taking and energy exertion on your behalf. What are those things that feel most exciting to you, that you actually have the energy for, that you have enough passion around, that feels juicy enough for you to make it worth it? So there you go. That's my question for you, and I hope this made some sense.